What is going on, folks? Mike Singer from BlueandGold.com with former Notre Dame quarterback Ian Book. I feel like Fighting Irish fans might remember the name, might still be fresh in their mind. So appreciate you joining us here to talk about your Notre Dame career, Ian, and in the NFL draft. So we'll start with the recruiting process for you. So, every recruit is told the 4 for 40 deal and all what Notre Dame can do for them in the short term and the long term, the best of both worlds. I cover recruiting at blueandgold.com, so I hear about this all the time with recruits. So now, kind of looking back at your Notre Dame career, entering a new phase of your life. Tell us about the Notre Dame experience in reality for you. What maybe were
Right.
some things that you didn't expect, things you weren't told in the recruiting process, maybe some things you were told in the recruiting process that maybe didn't live up to the hype. What can you share with us there?
Yeah. Everything I was told actually was true except one thing. But, the 4 for 40, it's true. You wear the monogram anywhere you go, someone's going to say something. And it's true that, Notre Dame family, it lasts for a long time. You could be looking for a job, and next thing you know, someone, hits you up and says, I went to Notre Dame in this year and graduated in this class. And, we'll take a look at you, at the end of the day. But the one thing that I wasn't told was, they told me to visit in the summer, and it was like, nice weather and everything was good. And I'm coming from California. I didn't know it was almost the worst weather ever. So that was really the one thing they got me on that one. But shoot, you buy a coat and some boots and you'll be good to go. But truly, the 4 for 40 and everything they told me about coming in and competing, nothing's given to you and you got to work for everything. And, all that's true. And it's 4 hard years of your life, and it can truly set you up for the next 40. So I truly believe in that. And it's something that they should sell in their recruiting pitch because it's definitely true. And I don't think I knew that really going there, as a freshman.
So, I mean, since you started for such a long time, Notre Dame is returning no experienced quarterbacks because you were durable and you started for 2.5 seasons. So Notre Dame goes out and gets Jack Cohn, Wisconsin quarterback, a 1 year stopgap kind of guy. But then after him, you're going to have Brendan Clark and Drew Pine, of course, Tyler Buckner. But Clark, you spent a couple years with. Pine, you spent a year with. Tell us about those two guys. What
Yeah.
do Notre Dame fans need to know about them because we haven't seen much of them since high school?
Yeah. Brennan Clark, first off, just loves football. You can tell he's just a tough guy. He's willing to do anything. Like he used to joke around, last year. He's like, I'll do anything. I'll run down on kickoff, like whatever. Just let me do whatever just a gritty guy and, can make plays. He was on scout team the year before that, and all he did was make plays. We used to watch his scout clips, and he can extend the pocket, and he's got a heck of an arm. Like his arm, he's got a really strong arm. So people should be excited about that. And then Drew Pine, he came in and just absolutely embraced the playbook. And he's a smart kid. He learned everything. He was up there every night, late at night studying with me and Coach Reese because he wanted to get that next step. And he's really serious about trying to become, the next starter at Notre Dame. And it's going to be, a hell of a competition between all those guys. But Drew's really technical, really good footwork. He just spins the ball. He's got a really pure motion. He can spin the football. And the smarts. He's smart. He picks up on things, and he doesn't act like a freshman last year. He didn't act like one, and he learned the playbook like this. And that's what you want in a quarterback. So, excited for them to battle it out. Excited for Jack to come into Notre Dame, and he's had played some ball. He's got some reps under him, and he's got that leadership ability. So, and I've also I also know Tyler Buckner as well. So I've thrown with him, and he's by far one of the best high schoolers I've ever thrown with. Back when he was in high school, and he's going to come in there and challenge those guys too. I haven't spent too much time with him where I know everything, but I know strictly from throwing. When I threw with him, he was better than I was in high school. Let's just say that he was killing it. So I'm excited for all of them to really battle it out this year.
And then at the receiver position, feels like another season coming up where there's just a lot of talented names in the room. But, your most proven receiver, I would probably argue, is Avery Davis. He caught like 20 something passes last season. So,
Yeah.
like, get Notre Dame fans excited about some of these guys returning. Like, who do you really feel like might explode this season?
I think I do think it is going to be Avery. He's one of those guys that has played four positions, doesn't complain, works hard. It's hard not to like a kid like that, especially as a quarterback. He was somebody that I just had a ton of respect for. Learned the playbook. He's willing to do anything. He'll play outside. He'll play inside. I felt like he really found his spot playing inside, and he's smart. He knows where to go, and he find the green grass and settle down and just find the area. And he kind of thinks like a quarterback at receiver, and I think that's a plus. He understands what I'm looking for and where my reads are, so he understands where to be at the right time. And his confidence is only growing, especially making those big plays last year. I expect him to do really good things and just be the leader, in that receiving core. And then, and it's all open. I think everyone's due for a breakout year, with Keys and Joe. Those guys should be able to just really take the next step in their game. They're a heck of a player. They know everything. They're veterans now on this receiving core, and they're meant to go out there and make these big plays like they've done their whole entire life. So I expect that from them, and I think Kevin should be able to make some huge plays. Kevin Austin, he's a big play receiver. He's different. He can go up and make the 50-50 balls, and we've had a guy like that for a long time. We had Chase, we had Miles and Ben. Now it's open. Someone needs to take that. I think that'll be Kevin Austin. He'll be able to be the big play guy for Notre Dame, and I just feel like the whole room is kind of all veterans now, and they're all at a certain spot. But all of them are due to have a pretty big year, so could be a good time for all those guys to really peak.
So in the 2015 class, Notre Dame brought in Brandon Wimbush. 2016 class, of course, was you. 17 was Avery Davis, you mentioned, who didn't spend that much time at quarterback. And then 2018, of course, Phil Dracovic. So, feel like a lot of people kind of looking at the four quarterback classes, and it's like, all right, you have Wimbush, he's going to start, and then it's going to be Phil's reign, and then Ian Book just maybe the guy who won't get a ton of playing time. Well, fast forward to today, you are you have the most wins as Notre Dame starting quarterback in the entire program history. I mean, just hearing that, Ian, are you even surprised? I mean, because like we're talking about Notre Dame. This isn't some others. This ain't Colorado State, man. Like, is it crazy to hear about that?
It's definitely weird to hear. I don't think it's really hit me yet, but I couldn't have done it without so many other people. But truly, when I hear it, it hasn't really hit yet, honestly. I feel like once I watch a Notre Dame game or even a season where I'm not there, it'll hit and it'll start to sink in. But just to be up there and even just be in any record book with any of the quarterbacks, the tradition at Notre Dame is a big reason I decided to go there. And just to be, even mentioned with some of those guys, like Joe Montana went to Notre Dame, stuff like that. I have to think about that and take a step back every once in a while to reflect. But, it's, I'm proud of myself for that. And, but I really couldn't do it without, everybody else in that locker room and all the coaches and everything. So it's a true honor, but I hope somebody beats it. I hope it's one of the guys I've been playing with. So it'd be awesome.
What are you going to miss most about Notre Dame? You spent 5 years there, man. So, that I mean, you grew up. You went from a boy to a grown-ass man at Notre Dame. So what are you going to miss most there?
Yeah. The brotherhood, like the locker room stuff. You always hear about going to the NFL. It's not like that, So I'm going to miss that. I've been in there and I've, blood, sweat, and tears with all those guys for 5 years, and you've gone through so many things. My first year, we were 4-8. And we've been able to make it to the playoffs twice. We've been undefeated in the regular season twice. Just stuff like that along the road, along the journey, and being able to have all those guys in the locker room. You become really close with them, and even the coaching staff, being able to come really close with Coach Reese and a lot of those other guys. Those are bonds that you'll cherish forever. So I'll really miss that locker room stuff, and those workouts that are hard in the morning and all that stuff. It's all like a brotherhood type of deal, and it just gets everybody a lot closer. So I'm going to miss that.
And speaking of the brotherhood, looking back at the 2016 recruiting class, so many NFL guys. I mean, tell us about some of your buddies from that recruiting class, guys that you really bonded with, maybe on like an official visit or something like that, coming in as freshmen and, lifelong friends now.
Yeah, I remember the first time, we got to Notre Dame in the summer and I was like, hey, let's go throw. And first guy I grabbed was Chase Claypool, and then he wanted to do one-on-one, so it was him versus Jalen Elliott. And I'm like, we just went out in the indoor, and it got pretty aggressive. I actually remember, everyone was talking trash first time we got out there, and I was like, these guys are both really good. So I mean, Jalen was playing corner, guarding Chase, and Chase was running routes from the slot and the outside, and that's when I was like, this class is special. And then the lineman that showed up, obviously, I was like, I remember some reporter asked me who I thought was going to be the best player in our class, and I just said Liam Eichenberg. He looks like a psycho. And next thing you know, he's going to be a really high draft pick, and all those guys. So it's going to be so cool to see where all those guys, end up. And there's already a few of them out there, with Khalid and Jalen and Julian Okora, all those guys. Our class, we did a lot, and it took a lot of people, but this class, I think, changed the culture, and now we got all these guys in the NFL, and, we were there when we went 4-8. That was the first taste of college football for all of us. And then, that changed, really soon after that season ended.
And took Notre Dame to, 2 college football playoff appearances, off, following 4-8. So, pretty incredible there. Tell us about the Senior Bowl experience, because you got to go to Mobile with several of your teammates. What was that whole week like for you, Ian?
That was an awesome experience, especially this year with COVID. You don't know if you're going to be able to get in front of NFL scouts again. The Senior Bowl might have been the only opportunity other than your pro day, and I don't even know if you'll be able to talk to them at your pro day. So it was really important to just be able to talk to all 32 teams and meet everybody. And then just going out there to compete with the best of the best. You hear about all these guys playing around the country, and then we all get together in Mobile and, just hang out and compete every day in practice and in the game. It was a really fun week. And then, the staffs really, the NFL staffs really challenged us. They gave us a lot of plays and gave us the playbook, late at night, and we had practice early in the morning, and we had like 30 plays just right off the bat. So it was cool that they were challenging us, and just a really great experience, just to compete with the best of the best. And again, just to be able to, talk to the scouts face to face, could be really important coming down the line here, getting closer to the draft.
Great segue. Tell us about the draft process. Where are you right now? What does training look like? What's the schedule? Just kind of tell me about where you're at right now with this whole process.
Yeah. I'm currently in McKinney, Texas, outside of Dallas. I'm at MJP, Michael Johnson Performance. Just been training here for roughly 6 weeks. I'll be heading back to Notre Dame on the 17th to get ready for the pro day on the 31st. But just working on everything from, a throwing script to, getting bigger in the weight room and working on a 40-yard dash, 5-10-5, and vertical jump and all those measurements. So just been training with a lot of guys down here from different schools and throwing with them, and just getting my body ready and my mind ready for this pro day.
All right, that's Ian Book, former Notre Dame quarterback and hopeful draft pick in the NFL draft upcoming here in April. Ian, appreciate you joining us, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Appreciate it.